Hey guys, it is me, Tanya, founder of the TNG Design Group Limited. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about what defines a good logo. Now, you're probably thinking, Tan, I don't care. I just want to get it out there and done and done and done, which is absolutely a cool attitude to have. However, please make sure that you are tapping into these few things to make sure that you're actually doing your logo some justice. But more importantly, you're doing your brand and your business and whatever else comes from this logo. This logo is being used to represent some justice. Okay, so make sure that you tap into these key things that I'm about to share with you. But before you do, as always, make sure you stick around to the very end as well. But aside from that, make sure you go ahead and actually like and subscribe to this channel. More specifically, go ahead and share this video or this whole channel, in fact, to somebody else who you think could really benefit from the idea of branding, from the idea of logo designing, from the idea of graphic designing, from the idea of making sure that all their stuff is all together and looking consistent. Simply because if you are not keeping your stuff consistent, well, how do you expect to grow? And how do you expect to build the awareness of what it is that you do and why it is that you're really doing what you're doing? So folks, make sure you go ahead and share this specific channel, like and subscribe to it as well. Hit that little reminder bell so you do not miss out on any new video that I go ahead and upload. And without further ado, let's get stuck into this. Okay, so as I said, we're going to be talking about what defines a good logo. Now, there's been a few series of these logo videos, if you like, so make sure you go ahead and just tap back into them to, one, understand what is a logo in the first place, two, who can actually design your logo or even where you can find a logo designer, and three, right here, right now, what makes a good logo. You've got to think about these key things that I'm about to share with you, simply because when you don't, you're going to understand, right, why there's such a mismatch or why things aren't quite sitting right with you, or even why that logo that you've chosen off on a whim just because, you know what, let's just do it, let's just get it out of the way kind of attitude kind of got involved in the decision-making process at the very beginning of what it is that you're doing. Yeah, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose the traction. You're going to lose the momentum or the consistency factor, like what I just shared at the very beginning of this video. You're going to lose that consistency factor to make sure that what it is actually relevant to who you are. And I've kind of given a little hint as to what you need to make sure that you are doing. Okay, so now in total, there's roughly about four things that you've got to make sure that you're covering, okay, when it comes to designing a good logo or even having a good logo in specifics, right? So the first thing that you want to make sure that you do, and this is where sometimes a lot of people will get caught up with this aspect, is to literally just make it simple. Keep it simple. You know, there's that acronym, that KISS acronym, right? The idea of keep it stupid simple, right? Or keep it super simple, however you want to phrase it. The idea of keeping it simple means that anybody coming across your path and actually being confronted by your logo in a good way will actually get to see who you are very clear, very directly, and very impactfully as well. Keep it super simple. You do not need to throw all kinds of gradient shades and galores and fanfares of colors at your logo. Please don't do that, especially when it's not relevant. And that's another thing that you've got to make sure that you're doing. Keep it relevant. So that's the number two part. Simply because when you keep it simple, but more importantly, you keep it relevant, that recognition as what it is that you do and why it is that you're doing it actually gets starting to be recognized as you. You're starting to use this mark, this form, if you like, this logo aspect or asset, guiding tool as I like to call it. You're starting to use it in a way that it will start actually guiding people into wanting to work with you or getting to know you even more so. It's your doorway. Remember, I shared with you what a logo is in one of my previous videos, right? I was describing the idea of the doorway. It's an attractive doorway, literally, to be able to help understand, or others to understand, this is you. This is what you stand for, and this is why you're doing what you're doing. Be clear, be simple, be direct about it. And specifically when it comes to your logo, landscape, stacked, however you want to create that form, make sure that you have all this next part, which is the idea of versatility. Now, keep it versatile. And here's what I mean by that. Think specifically about sizing. Now, there are many platforms that you can actually get your logo created on, or there are designers out there, and I shared with you how to, what kind of designers you can actually look for. There are designers out there who will actually create your logo for you, but will only give you a handful of file formats. Now, Here's why it's important to have more than a handful of file formats. When you're creating your logo, whether you're doing it on Canva or any other kind of creative platform, or whether you're going to a logo foundry and getting it from there, always make sure that you have the amount of files that will take you from a printed format as well as to a digital format. And I'm talking, when it comes to printing, can you actually size up your logo and it still keep the same quality, versus can you actually really reduce down your logo and it still keep the same quality? You want to make sure that things are simple, things are relative at any kind of size that you have, because that information will travel, that information or the journey of your logo travels just as your brand does. So you want to make sure who you are is translated throughout any kind of context that you are being represented in. Okay, that's key and important. The other thing to also be mindful when it comes to versatility, color formats. It's not just about having your color or your logo in full color. What does it look like in black and white? What does it look like grayscale? These things really do matter. So when it comes to who designs your logo, for example, that kind of thing that I touched base on before, those who design your logos, the logo designer, the graphic designer, the brand specialist, or the brand specialist who has a team of logo designers and graphic designers underneath their belt, they need to, or will, or should in fact, be mindful of all these aspects. And they should be equipping you with all the design files that you need in order to be able to take yourself from printed format all the way through to a digital format. And now the fourth thing. This specific fourth thing, aside from relativity, aside from sizing or versatility, aside from keeping it simple, this fourth thing, when you do it enough, it actually does help you to become what is known as being memorable. Being memorable. Being memorable is what will help to grow your brand. Being memorable and putting yourself out there, especially by way of your logo, and yes, it even does happen at that stage. Your logo, as I said, is a representative of you, your brand, your business, whatever it is that you're using it for. It is a representation of you. So keep it memorable. Have key quirky things that are relevant to your brand. Once again, have key elements or items that are relevant to the story of you. Because when you do that, you create conversational pieces. You create a conversation in general about why you've had that logo in the first place. But then equally, you're also creating the memory around your logo. Keep it very relevant. Keep it very relevant. Keep it very simple. Keep it very versatile. All these aspects go hand in hand to make sure that you can actually create a good logo. When you do that, every step and every stage of the process of your creating your logo, even at the very beginning stage, when you're just thinking, do you know what, I just need a logo to get going in the first place, keep these things in mind, because you're going to start helping yourself out. You're not going to have to go back to or even way back to the drawing board when it does come to rebranding. You would have recognized what your elements are, what your VPV is specifically, and you guys know what that is by now. If you don't, make sure that you go ahead and check out my branding video when it comes to talking about what a VPV is in the first place. Understand what that is for yourself, so you know how to make sure that anything that you are picking, whether a quick decision that you're making or a slightly slower process of a decision that you're making, you're always going to know that it's going to be relevant to your VPV specifically. So folks, there we have it. 4 key things to make sure that you are actually creating a good logo, and you actually have a good logo to begin with. Folks, there's a lot to think about, I know, but at the same time, these are all key elements to be able to make sure that you have the longevity that you actually deserve. Folks, I'm going to leave it there. Please make sure that you go ahead and like and subscribe to this channel. And as always, my gift from me to you, I want to make sure that you are tapping into these 6 key principles to make sure that you get your logo off to the flying start that it actually deserves to be able to represent your brand, that is congruent to your beliefs, to your values, to your vision, to your purpose. Yes, it is all relevant when it comes to this specific guiding tool, and that's exactly what it is. It needs to have the gravitas, if you like, or it needs to have that backing behind it in order to be able to reach your audience, your specific audience, even at this stage, before they actually get to come and meet you directly. So folks, there we have it. I really hope that this video helps you. Make sure you go ahead and click on the link that's in the description box below. Get all the information that you need specifically from the 6 key principles to be able to elevate your brand, elevate who it is that you are, even build on the awareness of what it is that you do, even more so. Get that information and make sure you take me up on my offer at the end of that as well. Folks, I will leave it there and I will see you on the other side.